Hello everyone and welcome back to the LSI F1 World Championship. We're today for Season 11, the first official season in F1 23. It's been a while, but we're finally back and we're once again starting off the season at Monza. I think we did this last season. I'm not sure if we did it a couple seasons before that as well. It was round 2 in the season before last season. But yeah, it does seem to be a circuit that we like to open up the calendar with. Anyway, I do apologise for the late start. We had a late start anyway, and then we have a late start to the stream as well to add to that. But we're finally in and we're good to go. Only 3 drivers being able to set a lap time on the board so far. So yeah, that's an interesting one. It definitely shows how this circuit is very, very tricky to get right. So Devon Young, they have a tyre ban, a qualifying ban, and Nifojan, they have a tyre penalty. So the way it works is they will only get one set of tyres to use throughout the qualifying session. They're just going to wait until a bit later on, and then they'll go for their laps basically. So they just only have a couple of laps to get a lap in. If a couple, probably more just like one lap. Anyway, Mikash currently tops the times. They are reserving. Welcome back, Matt26. Good to see them. Matthew Wiley, possibly previously known to some people. That is Zimmy, unfortunately, making a bit of a mistake there. Matt is improving on his time, whereas everybody else still struggling to get something down. We, of course, as well, JJ, Dave Raptors, and Tyus Horseman, all as reserve drivers in today's race. We do have a new driver for the F1 tier though, and that is Flexi1, and we'll see what he can do. Currently a 19.6, we've got a long way to go, as that is a phenomenal 18.8 there from Tyus. That is a very, very good job indeed in the McLaren car. We got Heischler, his teammate, on his way, looking to try and score some good points. Can he get his first win this season? Only 13 races in this championship, the shortest calendar we have ever had. Hopefully, it spreads things out and allows for a nice championship regardless. 13 races is still a decent amount, and you can have some epic battles. Heischler goes and sets a P2. That's a 19.1. Very, very quick indeed. That's their first lap down. Now we do have 5 drivers who have all set laps, but still, that is not very much, especially with 5 minutes to go, regardless. Yeah. Anyway, what we will do now is see what the other cars are doing regarding pit lane, because obviously Matt, Heischler, Tyus, they've all just set their lap times. Is anybody else going to be coming out that is an AlphaTauri of Zingy to come up now and exit the pit lane? Hold on a second, we'll just quickly adjust something and then we will be good to go. Alrighty, so Zingy looking to try and finally set a valid lap. We'll have a couple of other people on their way out shortly, I assume, to try and do the same thing. Who will be able to go for that pole position. Zingy, in the past, he has done some very, very good qualifying sessions regarding one lap pace. Just goes and does one lap at the very end with all the pressure on his hands, but still gets the job done. Can he do that today? 4 minutes on the clock right now. It will be interesting. I think if he feels like the lap is good, he'll complete it. If he doesn't feel it's good, he might have to abort it and go straight into the pit lane. I'm not sure if he would actually get time to do 2 laps here. Maybe he's going to try and hope for that. You can see that he's just holding the brake pedal down as he puts the throttle on to try and warm up the tyres. That is the meta in this game. No more warming up the tyres as you weave. Alrighty, Zingy is about to start his lap and we're going to go on board with the AlphaTauri driver, staying with AlphaTauri for another season alongside Nipojan. Here we go. DRS is going to be open just after you cross the line, and you're going to long run down into turn 1. You're going to be braking, I think it's around 100 meters, maybe just a little bit before. We'll see what he does. Pretty much just before the 100 meters, gets onto the curb nicely, opens up turn 2 and on the throttle, staying away from the curb, and now you keep it tight to the right hand side, minimizing track distance as much as you can. Doesn't choose to go over the inside curve. Some people do that, some people don't, but the marbles are much more effective in this game, so you kind of have to avoid that these days. Doesn't ride the inside curve, still a big bump, I believe, on that one. Maybe it's possible to ride it, but as he's not got a single lap in yet, it's not worth the risk. Very, very tricky on the exit, almost lost the car, and still didn't go quite as wide as he would have liked. But on the second Lesmo, he does get that quite nice and tidy. The LS available once again and for the final time into Ascari. Oh, turned in nice and early there, but got it perfect somehow. Purple middle sector, he will go. Can he get this one final corner right? Turn 11. This is the corner that he binned the car at all those seasons ago during the race, causing him to DNF. He's never won a race here. Can he go for pole position to start off in style? He can. A very, very good job by 2/10 just to add to it. Very awesome effort. One lap done there for Zingy. Can he get into the pit lane and come back out again in time for one more lap? I doubt it, but to be honest, with a 2/10 buffer, that might be enough. That well might be enough. We will see. Alrighty, on outlap, JJ is on an outlap. We might be getting Grajak, I should quickly say, on the circuit. We'll see later on. We've got Mikash. They're going to complete a lap here. Are they up on their time or down? It's said on the Delta they were 4/10 down, but you can never really trust that. We'll see if they decide to complete the lap or not. They're still going full throttle, so maybe they're banking on being able to go into the pit lane and coming back out again, but they would not have enough time to do that. They go into the pit lane, and that is going to be it for Mikash for qualifying. Zingy is definitely not going to be getting another lap in if Mikash cannot do it. We've got Flexi1 going into turn 1 to try and set another lap in this session. Can they finally get themselves out of the bottom of the current time setters? Zingy does retire, as there's just no point of staying in the lobby. He might as well retire and watch on board, maybe help his teammate find the traffic. He's on his final or first outlap using this tyre band to, well, I guess advantage. He's got the pressure. Sometimes a decent amount of pressure is good. Nipajan does have no racing line. They are learning no racing line, I should mention that, so their pace is going to be slightly different. They were leading this race last season until a technical failure, but this time they might be able to do pretty well. We shall see. Flexi1 coming through. Ascari's got a car in front of him, but they get out the way nicely. So no troubles there. Lots of cars still on outlaps and about to start their lap. Tyres does start their final lap. We'll see if he can try and challenge Zingy. Flexi1 though, they're going into the final corner. Parabolica, whatever you want to call it. On the exit, goes as wide as he can to get the throttle down and then straight into the pit lane. Not even going to bother finishing it, so he must have been down on his time. That is going to be it for Flexi1 for qualifying. Nothing can be improved. We've got Tyre Scoresman, who is now about half a tenth up on their lap time. That's not enough to catch the Zingy, and they do dip a wheel into the gravel on the left-hand side. Not the slowest way through the corner, but it could definitely be faster as he goes well off circuit. Still somehow keeps the lap valid. DRS available. We'll see what he can do as we cross the sector line, but I think that's going to be pretty far down, and he's going to have a phenomenal final sector in order to improve. I don't think it's going to be possible. 1/10 down, that is a lot of time needed to be gained in this final sector. We'll still stay on board. We have the Mercedes of JJ finishing their qualifying session. They will set the lap time at 19.9. The Ferrari of Matthew Wiley will finish his qualifying session, and they stay in P3. This could be a decent result for Ferrari here. That is Haas going into the pit lane, as they will definitely not improve. We've got Heischler, who is pretty much dead on his lap time, so he could still improve here. It's not ideal as he loses the car, and I've jinxed him. That is going to be it for Heischler. No more potential improvements. We've got Nifajan, though, who will complete their first and final lap across the line. What's it going to be for the AlphaTauri driver? It's going to be a P7 and 19.8 in the end. And with all the pressure, I have to say, fair enough. But this guy getting himself into P3 on his return for the Ferrari team. Fair enough to him. Very good to see Matt back. And one of the few South African drivers we have on the grid. So pretty special to see. Zingy takes pole position, tyre scoresman in P2, and Matt 26 in P3. That's the rest of the grid, as you can see. And then we'll quickly look through the race director just in case if we need to later on. As usual, we'll be back for the race. We'll see you in a bit. Ready, hold, go! Who's going to get it into turn one? We are finally away. There you go. Just about ghosting off the line. That is an Aston Martin, I believe, of Grosjean. No, it's the Ferrari of Grosjean. That's Dave Raptors who goes. Zingy leads the way. The McLaren around the outside trying to stay alongside. They are alongside. They can't get the lead though. The traction on the outside line is going to be so superior. Perfect job indeed from him. That is Matt holding on to their position. Dave Raptors retires from the session already. That's very, very, very unlucky there for them. That's going to be a yellow flag, but nothing more than that. Heichler goes off the circuit, aborting that move, and he's going to have to be careful. Flexi 1 is going to be so close. They almost had a look on the exit, but they do back off. They weren't quite close enough to get that one. A bit of understeer will make them vulnerable to Mikash, but everybody, full ERS, it's not going to be possible. That is actually going to be Nipojan making that move already. Perfect job from him right there. Very well done indeed. That's absolutely insane. And Devon Young sitting right behind his teammate now, looking for the move as well. He's going to go to the, is that the outside line? They actually switched tactically there. So interestingly done. Grosjean might not have a setup applied, but hopefully they do. And then JJ just rounding off the field right now. Zingy leads the way just momentarily as we start lap 2. Tyler Scoresman already challenging for the lead on lap 2, not even waiting for DRS. It's very, very cloudy, and that might mean we're going to get some rain later on. We do have dynamic weather, so I have no idea what the weather is going to be doing for these guys. It might cause some pretty severe problems, and like I said, that might be why Tyson has gone for that move nice and early. It might be raining very, very shortly, and if you are ahead, you're going to have a significant advantage. Matt sitting behind, right, pretty close, and he's not doing a bad job. There is a bit of a gap between him and the cars behind. It's side by side through the second Lesmos as Heichler knows he can take the racing line. Flexi 1 backs out, not worth the risk on lap 2. It does once again lead him vulnerable to Nipojan, who's made their second move on that second straight. Absolutely perfect from him. He's going to be happy with himself right now, and he sits behind his fellow countryman. Can he get the job done on the McLaren and make his way up to P4 from, was that P9 or P8 where he qualified? Going deep is the McLaren, getting a good exit, but maybe being a bit too excited on the throttle was Nippo there, and he could very much get overtaken by, the Alfa Romeo, but they're looking pretty low on the ERS right now. They're not giving up though, they're still deploying the battery, going to the outside line, and they're going to have the space. He's going to leave it, and he's going to get the move done, I think, on the exit. It's not going to be so straightforward, but he does have an advantage despite being on the medium tyres. Coming back as Nippo though, and he's just made that work. Absolutely incredible. Has he given up, or is the ERS just that big of a difference? And all of a sudden, Devon Young has found himself in front. Flexi 1 having some severe problems right there. Nippo Jan also has a problem. Gonna lose the position to Devon Young, and Devon Young has just managed to nab himself 2 positions in a matter of corners. Perfect job indeed from him. That's Gosman sitting right behind. Once again, Matt is very, very close to these guys. He's in the DRS train, and he's now got a gap to the rest of the field. Heischler wasn't able to stay with these guys, and he's had a mistake. He's had an issue on the exit of Ascari. I do not believe it. Heischler will be down the order, and he's going to be sitting in P9. Grosjean looking for a move. It's all very, very, very close. Devon Young into P4. Nippo Jan around the outside. Flexi 1 to the inside. It's not going to work. It is not going to work. Devon Young is going to have to take it into the pit lane. He gets a 5-second time penalty with all that distraction. Did he get damage from that incident? I don't know what happened. All of a sudden decides to go onto the softs already. He does have damage. Absolutely insane stuff going on right here. We don't know if there is going to be rain, so he might be okay. But that is tragedy there for Devon Young, doing so well. All of a sudden, a very close moment. 3 wide in Parabolica is always going to be super tricky. Zingy gets past on the DRS, so a good job from him. Well done indeed. It doesn't make too much of a difference though, because you get so many opportunities to overtake around this circuit. Plus, it's going to be right there and loving life. He can save ERS in this train. Zingy's doing exactly the same thing. Matthew Riley, he's sat right behind these guys. Had about a 50% battery. The DRS, of course, is slightly cancelled out due to the double DRS. That being said, though, he still gets a nice slingshot on Zingy. And if Taz decides not to go for the move on Zingy, Matt does have the ability to catch up. So he's right there. He's going to be dangerous. And he's got no pressure behind. So he's going to be sitting here for his home race for the team, looking at a podium. That is Nippo Jan losing the position once again, going wide at Parabolica. And that is going to not give him DRS. He's going to lose out a lot. He might be able to get him on the straight. He is going to get him on the straight. He's not going to send it to the inside, not finding the opportunity though. Tusk Horseman does of course lose the position. Actually, Zingy seems to be pretty furious with what's just happened there. Here comes Matt on the outside. He's been tapped just a little bit. He's not going to be able to get any closer than that. Zingy seemed to have a bit of car body language going on there. He managed to get to P2 as Tyres went for the move into the first corner. Then all of a sudden, as we switch over to their POV, Zingy's just wiggling the car a little bit. Not weaving in the straight, but just showing maybe a little bit of frustration already on lap 5 out of 27. We got the couple of trains. We've also got JJ and Devon Young very close to one another. Devon Young's going to be furious with their situation right now, but it's still good practice for tomorrow regardless. We've got Grosjean right behind Mikash here, both EU drivers, despite what it says next to Grosjean's name. Mikash wasn't able to hold on to the other guys ahead. That being said though, Nippo makes a pretty big mistake. He's got no energy left in the car, and Mikash is going to have a pretty easy opportunity to catch up and get into DRS range. Turn 1, it is going to be Tyres for the lead, and Matthew Wiley once again so close but not enough. Is the track a little bit greasy right now? Is it greasy? It seems like it. It seemed like it from the start, but I thought I was just seeing things. But actually, it's looking a little bit damp. And I think we're on slick tyres, slightly damp. It's going to be a weird one. Still, the slick tyres are going to be so much quicker. It's only on the exit of turn 1, really, that it kind of looks a little bit damp. Other than that, it's no problem. A mistake there for Tyres, and that is going to allow Zingy to catch up, make the move on the back straight, believe it or not. Tyres is probably going to go for the move again a little bit later on. But right now, these guys are just waiting for the pit window and potentially the rain due to the current weather conditions as we see. Yeah, the track looks a little bit weird, but not really that big of a deal. Grosjean retires. The safety car is out on lap 6. Is anybody going to be going into the pit lane? It's too early for the medium tyre runners. Surely they can't make it into the pit lane. Now he is going to go for it. He's going to go into the pit lane. Zingy makes the call. Tyres is going to be on a golden strategy. He could potentially make it to the end. Low wear for the Italian GP circuit as there's so many straights. This is going to be an interesting one. Zingy's going to have to go to the hard. Tyres actually goes for the hard, so actually it's not worked out too badly regardless. Nifojan, I was going to say he stayed out to go on the softs, but everybody's going onto the hard tyre. Could we see JJ, Devon Young maybe go for something a little bit different? We will see. Devon Young's got that time penalty that he will now be able to gladly serve. He might lose the position to JJ, but at least he's going to be back in the race. That is going to be great to see because he seemed to have some pretty good pace. So not really sure what happened to Dave Raptors. He disconnected at the start. The AI decided to retire the car, and then when he joined back, he couldn't get back in the car, of course. So, yeah, that's an interesting one. We'll have to look at it, but there's not really much we can do, unfortunately. So JJ is trying something a little bit different. He's going to go onto this medium tyre. It's not impossible that we get another safety car later on. So maybe he's going to bank on that, or he is just genuinely going to try and go to the end. The decision to go onto the hard tyre suggests that there's either going to be no rain whatsoever, or there's going to be rain at the end of this race. So we still need to keep an eye out for the weather conditions. But obviously, as everybody has gone for that longer tyre life compound, it would suggest that they're not going to be worrying about any wet conditions. If there was some rain possibly appearing, they would all go on to a medium tyre to try and get some fresh rubber on, but also be able to maximise their lap time for when they do pit a little bit later on. Zingy will lead the way, and he really does love to lead safety cars. Safety car restarts, more importantly, very good at them. Can the others react? I've got to say, such a shame for Matthew Wiley. He was doing a very, very good job. Sat right behind these guys with no pressure. Of course, he did a mega job to sit right by those guys. But it's all kind of gone away. He's now got Flexi1, who's going to get a second attempt at this. Nifojan, everybody is going to get a second attempt, except from the top three, of course. It's Monza. DRS trains are significant. It's just whether everything plays the way it should be. JJ's gone into the pit lane again to put a set of hard tyres on. Did they start on the hard tyre? Am I maybe seeing things and they actually started on the hard tyre? Don't usually look at the race director, but I am very, very curious. Did they start on that hard tyre? No, they didn't. It says they're on the medium tyre. No, it doesn't. Okay. So JJ's gone from the medium to the soft to the medium to the hard. So he's really trying to go for the rainbow right now in this race. That is an interesting one. So it does look like we should be able to go in at the end of this lap, I think. JJ's going to be fairly close. We go over the sector line now. It might be a late call. It might be a late call. JJ's still got a little bit way to catch, but by the time he does catch right about now, I think the safety car could get called in, and that will mean that he will slow down, let everybody kind of bunch up, and then they'll be going for that restart. There you go. As I said, safety car is in this lap. Everybody might have got slightly caught off guard, but we'll see. Zingy slows down to bunch up the field. He'll wait for that safety car to go in, then Tice will have to react. Can he do a good enough job, though? That is the question. Zingy, when will he go for it? And he's gone for it already. There you go, on the X of the Parabolica. What gap has he pulled away immediately? Only 4/10. That's not bad. For Zingy standards, not ideal though. 3/10 as he's trying to catch back up. He's in the tow. Is he even going to try and go for the lead into turn 1? On the restart, he pulls to the right-hand side. He's not going to be close enough. It's going to be side by side further down the grid. The other AlphaTauri is going to be involved in a little bit of a battle there with Flexi One. We also have, is that Mikash and Devon Young side by side? It is the two Red Bulls constantly going at it on track whenever we are racing. Very, very good to see these guys drive once again. Of course, last time we saw them in Vegas as they went and got themselves a 1-2 finish. Devon Young manages to make that move immediately on his teammate though. JJ is going to be right behind these guys as he does catch up in time. Zingy leads the way. 4/10 he manages to make it back. Matt right behind Horseman. This is going to be very interesting. Would he want to go for a move right now or a little bit later on? We'll have to see. But 2/10 is the gap he has at the moment. This is a phenomenal job here from Matt. The struggles that he had in previous races, he's managed to get rid of those bad habits, and he's in the fight for the podium situation. Nifajan so close to the back of Eichler, but not close enough. Oh, no, no, no. Korsman makes a mistake. He's still in the race. He's still P4, but he makes a big mistake. I think that must have been on the exit, surely. No, maybe it was on the entry, because his run isn't that bad. But all of a sudden, he finds himself in a massive, massive situation. He's behind his teammate now. He's behind a massive train. They're all on the same tyre. He's got a lot of hard work to do here, and he's got about half a battery to try and play with. So, not in a great situation. Zingy leads the way. Not quite half a battery, a little bit more than that. Matt is going to have to make sure he tries to stay within DRS range. I think it's available on this lap, so he's just got 2 corners to get that done. Zingy, though, finds himself in a situation where he might be able to push and escape. The Ferrari does enough. DRS isn't available, though, so he's still got the rest of this lap and half of the next lap to try and hold on. Will Zingy be able to get that done? Tyus already making his way back to P3. So must have been something going on with his teammate, and then Flexi One just not being able to cope as Tyus pushes with everything he can. He's now within DRS range of Zingy. Zingy was not able to escape there from Matt. Maybe Matt using some energy to try and hold on to Zingy. He's using it, and now he just wants to make sure that he maintains that DRS situation, because otherwise everything goes down the pan. So, doing a very good job. He does still have Dorfman right behind him, so he's not entirely safe. Slight mistake, as he didn't quite judge the braking point of Zingy right there, so it's going to compromise his exit. He is going to lose the advantage that he just gained on the ERS, but as long as he doesn't use too much more of his battery, he should be good to go. He's going to really be very, very careful in how he does use it. Being not so strong in the second chicane this time around, does slightly miss the apex of the first Lesmo, as we saw in quali. Hits it very nicely in the second one, but DRS regardless is available for the Ferrari. That is going to be still in a DRS train now, but a very good opportunity here for Matt. Flexi One sitting in the train as well, finds himself in a new situation after the restart. That's an interesting lag spike. He's trying to use all the energy he can to try and make sure that he maintains that DRS zone, and I said it again, I will say it again and again and again. It's going to be so important about this circuit. 1.6 seconds though is the gap that splits Heichler and Flexi One, so he's got his own train behind him. Nifajan could be making the move. We go on board with the leaders. That's Zingy go defensive. Tyus Gorsman to the inside line already. It's going to be 3 wide into turn 1. That's never going to work. Matthew Ali comes off the circuit. Tyus Gorsman, he manages to get into the lead on the the exit. That is absolutely incredible. What a job from him. What a job indeed. Flexi 1 to P3 now after that one. Oh no, Heischler loses out. He's still with the rest of the grid. There might have been a little bit of a situation. There's a big gap between Nefojan and Mikash now, but that is absolutely incredible. Switches up throughout the entire field. Matt suddenly finds himself into P4 after maybe a little bit of a risky attempt at going for a move. He could have looked at switchback, but he decided to try and have a go at P1. But that's never going to work into the first chicane at Monza. Devon Young goes back in front of his teammate. He's got Nefojan. No man's land is Nefojan right now. He's got an interesting situation on his own hands, so that's going to be very interesting. Matt goes for the move immediately back on Flexi 1, so Flexi 1 just trying to play the game of bull right now. Everyone's going to the end. They need to make sure that they stay in this race, and as long as they stay in this race, they all have a chance at winning. Will Zingy be able to finally get their first win, or is it not going to go their way yet again at Monza? Will they be able to take 3 in a row in the F1 tier? It's possible, but it's not their best circuit. We will see if the fate is in their hands. Scoresman sitting in P2, deciding to not go for that move. I don't think he really wants to go for the overtakes, but he knows he's got pressure from behind. That is Zingy, locking the rears on entry to the chicane, managing to stay ahead just about, absolutely sending it. So that is basically just on the limit. He's got the job done. As I was just saying a moment ago, the situation with Tyus Korsman, especially earlier on, he was having to go for the lead because he had Matt right behind him. On that last straight just there, he didn't feel the need to go for it. He does get himself a time penalty though, so that is going to change everything. If Zingy doesn't get a time penalty, this could be very straightforward. The other guys are going to be right there as well. That is absolutely tragic for Tyus. Hopefully that is a triple warning for him and it's just a bug, but it's not looking ideal. Matthew Wiley pretty low on the ERS. That's going to allow Flexi to go for the move, and a circuit like this, it should be pretty straightforward. Tyus Korsman is going to go for a quick look to just try and make sure Zingy knows he's there. Don't let him relax. But as I said earlier on, he didn't feel the need to go for the move, so he's not going to bother going for it. He doesn't want to be in P1. He wants to be in P2 till the end of the race, until the final lap, and then he will go for the lead. Maybe it's a little bit different now. He has that time penalty, but still, regardless, he will only need to go for the move if he is going to be threatened. Matthew Wiley all of a sudden finding himself in a very tough situation, struggling to hold on to the rest of the field without that ERS advantage he had earlier on in the Grand Prix. He still has the DRS, but Nefojan isn't that far away, so if he does fall out of DRS range, which is very, very possible with a massive DRS train, he could be in big trouble. Interestingly, according to what I've just been talking about regarding Tyus not overtaking, he's then gone for the move on the back straight. So very interesting situations. Maybe it's all mind games. Maybe he's just trying to make sure Zingy feels, I want to go for the lead. And then Zingy tries to overtake him because he doesn't want him to do what he wants them to do. I don't know. DRS available for Zingy, and he is going to go for the move regardless. So that is going to be a pretty straightforward pass. Moves on to the racing line as he gets it done nice and early. That's a second time penalty for Heischler, as we just saw a moment ago. It's not looking too easy for him. He's side by side with JJ. He's going to make that move, and JJ is going to have to back off so close to contact right there. Very, very good job to not spin out of that one. Mikash finds himself in P9, still going to score points here, but it's not really what he wants to do. He wants to be making those moves. He wants to be up there with his teammate as he was in Las Vegas. That is going to be Nefojan just about avoiding the wall. Absolutely crazy. And that is going to be Devon Young looking to the outside line, going to try and compromise the AlphaTauri's line as he's going to get DRS here, going to get a perfect exit compared to the AlphaTauri. The sister team is going to be struggling. That is very lucky there from Nefojan. He has lost the position, but he's still in the race. That was absolutely incredible to keep that out of the wall. Very well done indeed. Nifferjan doesn't have that ERS advantage. Now is his chance to save for later on in this race, but he could possibly lose the advantage if he's not careful. I think he needs to sit behind Devon, otherwise he's going to be in trouble. Whether he decides to go for the move or not, we'll see. He does decide to go for the move. Then maybe he's just going to try and play a game of cat and mouse, but decides to cut the circuit as he aborts. Going through the corner, missing his braking point. Absolutely tragic. He gets a 3-second. That'll get removed. He spent long enough off the circuit and he did lose the position. That's pretty unfair there for Nifferjan. He's now going to be threatened by Heischler as he closes up the gap and he brings an entire train with him. All aboard. All aboard. Getting back onto the lead battle, Matthew Wiley has dropped out. He's now in no man's land. Devon Young, can he catch up? 3.3 seconds. Watch that gap. See what it's going to be like later on. Zingy right there behind. 2.70. 2/10 looks pretty big around the circuit. That's got to be done. That definitely isn't the true gap. We'll see as we go across the start-finish line. I'm sure it will absolutely be correct as it will fix itself and maybe, hopefully, adjust itself to make sure that it's a live timing. There you go, 4/10. So it wasn't actually 2/10, it was just 2/10 for a moment. DRS available for Zingy, and he is going to go for the move. He's going to brake a little bit earlier, as that is going to be the McLaren compromise on the exit. Zingy's going to have the traction down, and that is going to be a pretty textbook move. Flexi One's going to be right there. He might be able to get a run, but no, Tyus is not going to let that happen. He's going to use the energy to make sure that he maintains the position, but tries to not go for the move on Zingy. Flexi right there in the mirrors, you could see. He still had a look, but I think he knows the situation he's in. That's 17 out of 27, about 10 and a half laps to go of this race. He's still got a lot to do. A long way to go. Flexi One is not out of the equation here. But he does need to make sure that he gets in front of Tyus and in front of Zingy, of course, no matter what. If Tyus maybe finishes in front, it's probably not going to be too bad. It really depends if that time penalty situation is a bug or not. If Erjan gets themselves a time penalty as they lose out to JJ, they are very much stuck in that train now. 3.7 seconds is the gap between Devon Young. Matthew Wiley is able to maintain and gain on the Red Bull driver. JJ manages to get in front of Heischler now. So a very good job from him, but he will get immediately challenged on the exit, as that is going to be the McLaren having the DRS, having the advantage. The question is, will Niffo be able to go for the move? Will he be able to go for the move as well? Is he going to try it? He's going to have a lot of speed in that car. Will he go for the inside on the McLaren? I don't think he will. It's going to be side by side. JJ will hold on, and that is going to be absolutely devastating there for Nifferjan. Luckily, he is spending a little bit of time to save the energy. I say that, he's just used a little bit there, so he's not going to be able to hold on for too much longer, but that moment of fighting could cause Heischler to escape here. He's got that time penalty, but of course if you lose the DRS range, you're going to still put yourself in a very risky situation. Devon Young can't find an answer to Matthew Wiley. He's doing a very, very good job. I'm sorry for mispronouncing his name. It's just his old name and I'm used to it. There you go. Nifferjan is going to make that move on JJ. JJ didn't have the DRS, wasn't able to hold on to Heischler. Now Nifferjan is going to try and catch back up to Heischler, but he makes a mistake on exit, and he might even lose the position here to Mikash. Mikash isn't going to go for it. There's a wall in front of him. He's got a lot of energy. He's going to go for the move on JJ, sticks his nose in. JJ leaving minimal space. Nifferjan goes off the circuit. JJ's going to go through, and Mikash is going to be right there as well. DRS for both the Mercedes and the Red Bull. That is going to be phenomenal. Mikash leads the way, going to give Nifferjan the toe as he wants to make sure that he doesn't give JJ any advantage. That was perfect. Mikash sits in P7. Still 1.5 seconds behind though. That is a big mistake there for Tyus Korsman, as he's now lost out not only to Flexi 1, but he's lost out to the DRS train. He's now within DRS all of a sudden of Flexi 1, but now that gap in between Flexi 1 and Zingy has just disappeared all of a sudden. He's no longer got that DRS train, and that is the unfortunate nature of being third in a DRS train. As soon as the P2 guy makes a mistake, you lose everything, and it could be devastating for your entire race. The results will definitely be affected by that one unless Zingy makes a mistake, and he has made a couple of mistakes in this race, so it's not going to be so straightforward. That is a phenomenal job there. Flexi 1 not just getting DRS, but he did catch up nicely. Doesn't have too much energy to use though. Zingy, he's in a good position right now. He's leading the race without anybody behind him in the DRS range, and he has energy to use. This could be a pretty straightforward win here for Zingy. His two main rivals could be fighting each other later on in the race. It really depends how Tyus is going to look at it. Is he going to try and let Felix go? Flexi, sorry. Is he going to try and let him go, or is he going to try and fight him? He's got the 3 second. If we see him fight, then he might actually be having that time penalty removed afterwards. But if he doesn't fight for it, that time penalty could be legitimate. Did he get the DRS? He was so close there. So close. Flexi 1 doing a perfect job. He's catching. He is catching. All of a sudden he's losing. Then he's catching again. I think Zingy's got that energy to use, and he's not going to be afraid to just quickly dab it to give him the run. On the exit of Ascari, he was phenomenal. And actually, Tyus Corson manages to get a phenomenal exit there as well. He did have DRS just a moment ago, so I think that's going to definitely be an answer to most of that situation. Both drivers very low on the ERS. I think Tyus has just got a little bit more. He's got the DRS, and he's going to go for the move into turn 1. Flexi isn't going to fight it. He's going to let that one go, and maybe they can use each other as a DRS train to catch back up to Zingy, and Flexi 1 will have yet again another attempt at going for the win. In the meantime, after all of this, Matt has gained quite nicely to the cars ahead, but it's nowhere near enough if he's to get back into a potential position for a podium, regardless of a win. Devin Young still losing more and more time to the cars ahead. He can't find a way. Heischler, 2.3 seconds behind, but he has a 3-second time penalty to add, so it's going to be pretty difficult. JJ and Nifajan fighting earlier on. They've lost the DRS zone to Heischler, and now it is just going to be JJ, Nifajan and Mikash in their train. Mikash is going to be trying to get in front of JJ, maybe just letting Nifajan go. Actually, Nifajan doesn't have a legitimate time penalty, so they will be able to get that one removed. Tyus Corson is trying his best to catch up. He's not got too much energy available in that car. He's 1.2 seconds in pursuit, and that is yet another time penalty to another driver. Devin Young finds himself victim. Almost 5 laps remaining, about 5.5 laps remaining at this point in time. 1.2 seconds is the gap that splits the top two. Flexi 1 doesn't really care about that though. They need to make sure that Tyus does catch up. Is it going to happen though? He wants the on-track glory at least, even if this time penalty is legitimate. Flexi 1 just wants to make sure that Tyus doesn't play around. Other battles in the field, it does look like it is just Nifajan, JJ and Mikash. Other than that, everyone is somewhat spread apart. That is Heischler catching up slowly but surely to Devin Young. Flexi One decides he wants to go for the move. He does get slingshot quite a nice amount, so he's going to be able to gain a lot from that. But is it going to be enough? We know the ERS situation. We do know Zingy all of a sudden deciding he wants to use a little bit to try and get that back up. So the slingshot is powerful, but the way the cars are positioned, the way the DRS straights are positioned, Zingy's doing enough to hold on. He just needs a couple corners to get right, and he might have a go at getting DRS. Come on, let's see. Flexi, can he get it done? It's not going to be possible. Crosses the DRS line, and Zingy is going to yet again just about be safe to stay in front. He's using ERS to make sure he stays ahead, so he is keeping control of this race, but it's really not by much. So it's very, very tough for him right now. He's still going to have a lot of pressure, and he's going to be kept on his toes throughout the entire event. When will he decide to use all of his ERS to make sure he gets that gap up a little bit bigger? We will find out, but 1.2 seconds right now seems to be the sweet spot for Zingy. A slingshot will be available here for Tyus. Is he going to go for it or not? I think he definitely has to. Is it going to be significant enough, though? That is the question. Both flashing on ERS. He had a little bit more than Flexi, so he might have a go at catching up Zingy here, but yet again, Zingy, he's got the deficit. He doesn't need to worry. And by the time the other guys catch up, he's saved enough to be good again. Actually, that being said, he's used a little bit more this time around. He has used a little bit more this time around. So I said earlier on, slowly gaining on Devon Young. That being said, though, all of a sudden the gap has kind of started to slow down on its closing rate. It might not be so straightforward. 4 laps remaining of this race. We're about to get to 3 laps, and that is going to be where the plug is pulled for everyone. Flexi's going to want to get the move on track just in case. Tyus Korsman is not going to be able to challenge Zingy for the lead. It looks like either way, if that time penalty is legitimate or not. Matthew Wiley is doing a phenomenal job. Heischler needs to try and find a little bit more time. Otherwise, Devon Young's going to take those points away. And yes, in the F1 tier, those points are taken away despite reserves being in the list. It's different for F1.5, but it's like this hardcore cutthroat in F1. And in that case, Nifojan needs to make sure he plays it smart and does go for that move on JJ at the right time. He goes for the move already, interestingly. Mikash decides to not go for it. He's still third in the train. An interesting situation. An interesting situation. No ERS, well, little ERS for JJ, no ERS for Nifojan, and a lot of ERS for Mikash. So I think I know what's going to happen here. I think I know. He's looking for the inside already. Absolutely crazy. There's contact. And that's going to be JJ rounding out of the equation. I do not believe it. Mikash all of a sudden finds himself right behind. That is tragic there for JJ. He still keeps hold of the car. He's going to have to hope that Mikash and Nifojan fight here. But that's not going to be an easy situation. Korsman catches up to Zingy on the final few laps. We're about to start the penultimate lap. All of a sudden, it's under threat. It is under threat. If Korsman decides to fight Zingy, he could be in trouble. He could lose to Flexi. Does he not have enough energy? He has the advantage. Flexi isn't that far away though, so he's still going to be in a good situation. It just really does depend if the McLaren decides to fight or not. He makes a mistake. He understeers. He's going to have to try and get past the McLaren. I think he can't completely rely on the McLaren to fight. It's not going to be that kind of situation, I do not believe. Mikash has gone for that lead on Nifojan already. He's going to try and hold on, I think, with the ERS regardless. So hope that maybe Nifojan goes for a move in a little bit. Absolutely crazy. Right now, Flexi One is going to be thinking very hard. How can he try and win this race? Zingy must have made a mistake. It was a big close-up there. for the cars ahead unless Tyres just found a massive amount of pace. He's absolutely rapid right now. You can see the rotation he's getting. Loving the tyres despite them being super, super old after everybody made a very early pit stop. He's going to be looking to go for the move, I reckon. Even though it's just going to be for track glory, I think he's definitely going to give it a shot because Zingy can just sit behind in the train and he might not want to go for it on track. He might just want to make sure he sits in the DRS train. No ERS here for Zingy. Tyre Scoresman has the DRS. I don't think he's going to go for the move though. He's going to hold on. Flexy's going to go for it. Tyres is going to allow him to go through. Flexy's going to have the DRS. Does he have enough energy to fight Zingy here though? That is the question. Tyre Scoresman realises this time penalty is legitimate. I'm going to let these guys fight it out fair and square. Lap 27 out of 27. Who's going to get it? We got 2 sectors to go in the Italian Grand Prix. Round 1. Zingy hasn't won ever in Monza. Flexy, it's his debut. He's never won in LSI. Full stop. DRS for the final time. Is it going to be possible for Flexy to get the move? ERS is equal. DRS is not going to be powerful enough. Surely it's going to be possible. He's going to have to send it hard. Goes to the outside line, but misses his braking point. What a shame. What an effort. That is absolutely incredible. A phenomenal effort there, but what a shame to end it like that. Zingy is going to lead the way. Tyre Scoresman once again lets Flexy to go for the move. Zingy's going to come round the final corner and for the first time ever he will win the Italian Grand Prix. What a drive. What a drive. Awesome job there from Zingy. Flexy won. What a phenomenal challenge. Such a good effort on debut. They're got to be happy with that one, especially with the way they started that race. Tyre Scoresman takes P3. Matthew Wiley in P4. Devon Young holds on in front of Heichler in the end. And Mikash does get Nifojan there. Perfect job. I've lost my voice. But that was an exciting end to the race. I didn't think the DRS would be that powerful at the end of that straight. Driver of the day, I think that's very well deserved. All of the drivers today deserve a round of applause. Well done to this man, though. He's going to be super happy for his first ever win at Monza. Zingy takes the win. Felix... hold on a minute. Let's try that again. Zingy takes the win. Flexy 1 gets P2. And Tyre Scoresman fastest lap in P3. Matt in P4. Devon Young, Heichler, Mikash, Nifojan and JJ. DNFing earlier on was Grajak and Dave Raptors having a technical issue. Race director... As you can see, just in case if we need it later on, it's very, very possible with the tricky track limits around this circuit. We'll be back for the post-race interview. We will see you in a bit. Hello everyone and welcome back to the LSI F1 Italian Grand Prix. I always get the intro to the post-race interviews wrong. We are here for the post-race interviews. We start with Heisler. Heisler, that was a tough race. Losing the DRS trains it was like early on in the race, but also on the safety car restart. Lost out very early on. Can you take us through that one?
Yeah, it was kind of annoying. I tried to, like you said, stay within the DRS of the guys ahead, but people behind me had other thoughts and tried to overtake me, which cost me quite some times. Yeah, that's mostly hold me back, and then Devin decided to send it on in Ascari. Which, when looking back, he was only with his front wheel alongside my rear tire. But yeah, I'm not gonna go further into that. Yeah, spun me. Was on my own for some time. I was catching actually the guys ahead, which I was surprised with when they have DRS. Then the safety car happened, and obviously everyone pitted to the arse because from that point they will make to the end. Yeah. The rest was again people trying to overtake me whilst I just tried to stay within the DRS. Like I get people want to have track position, but it doesn't help when people try to overtake you to stay with the DRS within the DRS of the next guy. But yeah, people don't really understand that apparently, and that kind of fucked over my race.
Yeah, unfortunate for you. I do have a question. How were the hard tyres? They pretty old at the end. Were they looking like they maybe pop, or did you feel you'd be okay to go a few more laps if absolutely necessary?
To be honest, I haven't looked at the tire wear. I saw my tire icon popping up like 2 laps before the end. So they were 60 at that point, so I would say they were around 65%, so it was quite easy for me. But I found out most of the times I'm quite good on my tires, so not sure who the others were going, but mine were fine. Not really nice to drive, but fine.
Fair enough. Well, good to hear. Well done, great effort today. Spain is next. You like that circuit, the new layout?
Oh, mate. You know it. I love that circuit. It's my second favorite circuit, so I will definitely enjoy that one.
Yeah, hopefully we can see some good results there. You actually did pretty well in the summer season there, so yeah, hopefully we can see some good results there. Thank you very much. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words, if you can?
No DRS train.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today. Great effort.
Thank you.
We move on to Nifo-Jan. Nifo, that was a roller coaster of a race. Parabolica seemed to be your enemy today. Well done on that mid-race save. Can you take us through your journey today?
Probably the most embarrassing race of my life. Yeah, it's just nothing really worked. The setup from the beginning was flawed. I tried something different from what all the other people were trying. This caused me. I had a good straight line speed over everybody else, but I didn't know that like downforce is so important in Monza apparently. So yeah, no turn in. Tire wear was worse, sliding everywhere. Parabolica went off like 50 times. T1, I basically almost got sandwiched. Like there was no way I was gonna go in between. I think Mikash and Devin. So I broke earlier than normal, and Jay just right behind me, so he just front wing off. So I'm sorry if that was my fault, but I just didn't like if I stuck where I was, and Devin was like, you know what, he's not far alongside, and he just moves. Like I basically get taken out, and I take him out, and just didn't want to take the risk, and didn't know JJ was that close behind me. So yeah, I'm sorry if that was my fault to him. Yeah, the rest of the race was just I kept up in the beginning on the softs, and just after the safety car on the hards, just mistakes and a little bit more mistakes, and then a little bit more mistakes, and just no traction out of corners, no turn in, and the straight line speed wasn't as much as I hoped for, and trying to regain or like keep the position to Devin. I used all my ERS, and then I just couldn't get him back again. And then that's how you end up fighting for last place. So yeah, that was that was probably the worst performance of my life. It's just I was unbearably slow today.
It's unfortunate. It is a very unique circuit, very difficult to get right, and was still somewhat in the early phases of this game. Still a very good effort. Didn't give up, so well done indeed. Next weekend, it's a more traditional circuit. I believe maybe you have a little bit more experience around Spain, and I think you could do a good job. That's if you are racing. Do you like Spain?
Yeah, I like Spain. If I'm not off the pace like by like 2 seconds, like today, it'll be fine. It's I think it's a lot easier on the braking points with DRS and whatever, so it should be a better circuit. But after today, I just wanna forget this one and then think about Spain in a little bit.
We can pretend that Spain is round one. Let's just look at it that way. Yeah, really, really good effort to stay in this one. Once again, I can't believe you're still in the race after that massive moment, almost putting it in the wall. Still, well done. Thank you very much. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Unbearably beep slow.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today. We move on to Zingy. Zingy, finally done it. You win in Monza. Wasn't so straightforward though, was it?
Well, from what you might have seen, it might have not looked straightforward, but after the first few laps, I knew that I definitely had the pace to keep it in the middle sector. Granted, I didn't make any mistakes, so I was just trying to keep it nice and simple. Obviously, as I said, don't make any mistakes, keep the gap, and then Flaw decided to go for an accidental audacious dive bomb, which turned into him hitting Felix, I think his name is. And then they were faster towards the end. I think my tyres were going off a bit more than the others around me, which obviously we've explained before that with controller it's much easier for the tyres to wear out. But for the most part, I was keeping my own, and I knew that I couldn't throw an arm under race win, which I know he did. I made the mistake in the penultimate lap, but Flaw didn't seem to overtake me, so I'm not complaining whatsoever.
Really, really good effort. I'm very, very happy for you there. Like, finally, it has been done, so well done indeed. It's a nice track to win at, so yeah, good job. Next race, Spain. You like that one? It's a more traditional circuit. Do you think it will be good for a controller player, or do you think maybe Monza is a peak controller player performance?
Monza is anything but peak controller player performance, I'll tell you that for a fact. Spain,
traction zones, no?
Well, we don't have as much traction as we used to. It's still there, but we don't have as much. But no, Spain's obviously a more traditional circuit. I've won there before in LSI and other places as well, so I believe I can carry this momentum forward, and the confidence I've got, especially after winning the summer season and the one before that, I think I feel confident and ready enough to win this race as well, which I'm really looking forward to.
Fair enough, fair enough. A really good effort. Hopefully this time at Spain you'll be able to make turn 1 instead of... never mind. Anyway,
Okay.
thank you very much. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Tire wear. Yeah.
Thank you very much, and very well deserved. Congratulations, you are leading the championship. Well done, Zingy.
Let's do one race.
And we will end it there. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. It's been a pleasure. We will see you tomorrow for the Italian Grand Prix for the F1.5 EU Championship. I cannot wait. It's going to be awesome. We'll see you next week for the Spanish Grand Prix. We'll see you Tuesday for the practice lobbies. Make sure you're there. And other than that, thank you very much again for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.